Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Help on the Way podcast, where we'll be featuring April 4th, 1994, from the Orlando Arena in, obviously, Orlando, Florida. I am your co-host, The Game, here with my fellow co-hosts,
See how that
Fig,
works?
and a returning Knob. Fig,
Right.
let's go ahead and welcome Knob back to the show. Woo!
It is good to be back.
Welcome.
So, Knob, tell
Yes.
us a little bit about your brief Help on the Way sabbatical. What have you been up to?
I've been really into fish, and I decided that the Grateful Dead is lame, and that I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, the Grateful Dead is
no.
lame, but
Yeah. I
Sure,
mean, I
just
was
wanna
at
hang
a
out with
couple of
us.
those. I was at a couple of those Madison Square Garden shows. They were fun. Anyway, not the point. I was directing a production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast for the last month and a half, and
Awesome.
especially towards the end of the process, it became very time intensive. So I kept listening to these shows, being like, I'm gonna have the time to do this episode, and then I kept being like, I don't have time to do this episode. But I've been listening to what y'all have been doing in my absence. It was very cool, and I'm very excited to get back in the swing of things.
Well, welcome back. And just to summarize, most of what we were doing was, man, I wish Now were here because
I know, that's why I like the episodes so much.
Yeah, they were very knobless.
There really was a
it
few
was-
times where
it was
we
more
were
feeling.
just where we were really
Vibe.
just were like, yeah, we really need Knob for this one. All right, let's keep on going on.
There were a couple
here.
of times where I was listening to him and like yelling like a kid watching Dora, being like, "It was 1985. You're looking for 1985."
Yeah. Well, we did our best, and
Oh, you did great.
yeah, no, it was fun. We had some good ones. We had some good times, but we're glad you are back, Knob.
Yes,
Thank you.
and as always, before we dive into the main event of April 4th, 1994, we are going to dive into our Channel 6 news segment, and we only have a few bullet points this week. And I'm actually going to start on the somber of the two notes. The Grateful Dead, I guess Grateful Dead world, music world, I guess,
Music World.
lost a important member of its society. Robbie Robertson of the band passed away on I call it the death date. I don't know if there is an
That's
official,
what I would say too.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an official
I think that's fine.
fun name for that, but we lost Robbie.
I mean, you don't really. It's
I
not
guess
something you have a party for.
No, I guess not. We lost Robbie on August 9th. The Grateful
Which is the
Dead,
same day we lost Jerry.
Yes.
Just a point on that. Yeah.
Different year, obviously, but the same date that we lost
Really?
Jerry.
The same universe.
Yes.
The same timeline.
Oh.
We assume.
Now, the Grateful Dead, they have only ever covered The Weight by the band, correct?
Yes.
I know JGB
Yeah.
does.
The night they
No.
drove
Yes.
Old Dixie
yes.
down.
Which
It's one of my favorites.
Yes, that makes me want to go fight the war for the Confederacy whenever I hear that. I'm ready to change sides whenever I hear that song.
I'm full of pride for some reason. Like, what is this?
I'm gonna go join Robert E. Lee, babe. I'll be right back. Yeah. I really I don't have too much to say about the band, really. I don't want to sit here and talk like I'm this big band fan. However, I do enjoy I guess the hits, so to speak. And I had music from Big Pink, which is one of their famous albums.
Oh, a classic.
And I purchased The Last Waltz a few record store days ago. Many moon record store days ago.
And that is very much Robbie Robertson's brainchild, The Last Waltz.
Yes. So yeah, total bummer that Robbie passed away. Any words on Robbie from Knob or Fig?
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a big the band nut. I like them a lot. And their influence on I think the Dead is palpable, and especially Robbie Robertson's collaborations with Bob Dylan. Uh,
Mhm.
are I don't know. Dylan is playing very well and making really interesting music when Robbie Robertson was there backing him. You know,
Hmm.
Dylan's always doing cool stuff, but I really like the sound of when Dylan was backed by the band. Uh, Dylan posted a very heartfelt well, by Bob Dylan standards, a very heartfelt tribute to Robbie Robertson. Yeah, I mean that
Was Can I ask you a quick
sound of yeah,
Dylan the band question?
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt, but were they involved in the Basement Tapes? Was that
yes,
era?
yeah.
Oh,
That was
okay.
them.
Okay, I'm still
That
more familiar
was
with that. Yeah. Oh,
oh yeah,
cool.
that's the whole
Thank
deal
you
with the
for that.
Basement Tapes was the band had been Dylan's backing band for a few years
Hmm.
when because they were originally Ronnie Hawkins's backing band as the Hawks, and then they were backing Bob Dylan for a while when Dylan started doing his electric shows, and then the Basement Tapes were all about the start of the band kind of as their own thing. That's when you started
Oh,
having
okay.
that morphing from them just being Dylan's backing band to they are now a band that Dylan
Oh.
plays with. Uh,
I don't think I realized that them being called just the band was just like, oh, because they're Dylan's band. It's like Bob
yeah,
Dylan and the band. Is that
there's a
what was
few
going on?
stories about how they came to that name, and I don't know which one is true.
Hmm.
But it definitely came to the fact that they were very much the backing band, and they were all very talented musicians. That when they started calling themselves the band, all of their contemporaries were like, "Yeah, y'all are the band."
That's it. That's cool. Yeah, my band plays Odds and Ends from the Basement Tapes,
Ah,
which is a really fun
nice.
blues song. It's just a lot of fun to just kind of jam out on that one. So, oh, and then we go into Big Railroad Blues, which is the same song
Yeah,
with a little bit of a different feel, but we just kind of mash them up together because why not?
yeah.
It's a fun little thing. I didn't realize that was Robbie Robertson, so thank you for that.
In much more uplifting Grateful Dead music news, the member who we did not get to see this past Dead and Company tour is finally heading out on the road. One,
Yes, Phil.
yes, you know what? I totally forgot about Phil. Sorry.
Bruce Hornsby
Uh,
hitting the road.
um, One William Kreutzmann is finally taking Billy and the kids on the road for I believe it's just two shows.
Yes.
August 16th, which is in Baltimore, and August 18th, which is in New York City. I do believe the New York show is already sold out, but tickets still do remain for the Pier 6 show in
Well,
Baltimore.
well, just for the record, by the time this episode goes out, that
Oh
show will
yeah,
have already happened.
good
It
point.
will be too late to buy tickets to Billy and the
Yeah,
Kids in Baltimore.
you
If
can't
you
you can't
happen
plug it anymore.
if you happen to be listening in live to this recording, then there are still tickets available for Baltimore. But show's already happened. Um Nob, who I know they've added Daniel, how do I say his last
Daniel
name?
Donato.
Yeah, thank you. They've did they announce someone else as well?
Well, it's the usual lineup: Tom Hamilton, Aaron Magner from the Disco Biscuits, the bass player whose name escapes me, and I feel bad about that, and James Casey from the Trey Band on saxophone. But they've also added a second drummer for this show, whose name I
Cool.
am googling now, and I'm going to talk really slowly to give me the time to
Because
figure
Knob is a
out what
professional,
his
and this
name
is what they
is.
teach you on podcasting school.
Why isn't it on his freaking website? What is? What are their names? Just tell me their names.
And
Come
did they
on.
and I think they added Sierra Hall. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Uh,
I'm on Billy's Facebook page because Boomer Facebook, etc.
yeah.
And Sierra Hull, Hull, is playing the ukulele. It looks like maybe no, that's
Huh.
not the ukulele. That's not a ukulele. Something. Um,
Interesting.
Not a guitar or a bass
Good I
though.
didn't
Not a
see.
ukulele. Somewhere in there. And she has a thing that says "See you at the pier," and
Huh.
Billy reposted that, I suppose.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He definitely was hyping up that it's going to be more than just the usual Billy and the Kids lineup this time around. Not just Daniel Donato plus Jeffrey James Franco, who's the other drummer whose name I knew this whole time.
What a professional! What a professional!
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've got some guests coming out. It looks like Sierra's going to join them in New York, and
There you
Baltimore
go.
will have more guests TBA. That's another clue for you all. Any guesses? That's what I'm just reading their Facebook post about it.
Now, these shows will not be live streamed, correct?
Nothing's been announced. It's entirely possible that they'll announce a live stream closer to, but nothing has been announced so far.
I think I don't want to say they have to, but like it would definitely sell. I mean,
Yeah.
the last Billy and the Strings shows, Billy and the Strings.
Yeah,
Billy
that's why, yeah.
Billy and the Kids with honorary kid Billy Strings.
Yeah, Billy Strings was out there. Nugs would be like chomping at the bit to stream them without question.
Yeah, for real. I would be interested in seeing these shows.
Yeah,
Just because
I'm excited to see the New York one.
I like Tom Hamilton,
Yeah.
Billy obviously, and the saxophone guy. Which
Yes.
one is he?
James Casey.
Yes, I like him a lot as well. So, I hope live streams of these shows happen. If not, I'm sure I'll be finding an odd somewhere.
Mixler.
Yes. Oh, or that. I kind of forget that MixLR or Mixler exists. And it looks like, truthfully, I know the tickets have already been, or the shows have already passed by the time this recording is released. There is a good amount of tickets available for the Baltimore show.
Interesting. Is it outside? Was the pier? I imagine it's just an outdoor venue, like on the water. Or something. Interesting.
And it's a Wednesday night, but yeah,
sure,
like
tough night.
You can get seats in literally.
Game Central PA is pretty close to Baltimore.
Yeah, I can't pull that off on a Wednesday. Thursday I probably could, but I don't think I could pull that off on a Wednesday. But they're reasonable though. You can get lawn tickets for $34, and then the cheapest seat is $70. So
that's not bad.
No, I don't think so.
By these days concert ticket price standards, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, considering I just paid $17 for a ticket, and here I am saying like, "Oh, look at this, $70, totally reasonable." But it is what it is. All right, Billy, knock it out of the park, bud.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to our main event for the evening, which is April 4th, 1994, from the Orlando Arena in Orlando, Florida. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into set one so we can begin to share our thoughts. Set one began with Help on the Way, Slipknot, and To Franklin's Tower. Then we got Little Red Rooster, Brown Eyed Women, When I Paint My Masterpiece, Loose Lucy, Cassidy, and Don't Ease Me In. You know what? Let's send it to the returning Knob for his thoughts on set one.
Hello, it's me, Knob. I've got thoughts. I enjoyed set one. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's the big thing is it's a 94 show. It's a good 94 show, but it is a 94 show. You got to take it on its own terms. Jerry's going to fuck up the words. Some jams are going to meander. Vince is there. It's not going to sound like 72 or 89 or even 91, but when it works, and this is a night where it works. It's not often that I am wowed by the opener of a Dead show. I usually think, this is fun, and then by song 2 or 3, I'm really into it. But this is one that impresses me right from the jump. Despite some vocal flubs from Jerry, I thought this was a really tight Help on the Way. And this is a song where that lighter 90s Jerry tone really fits. The general mix is better than the first minute of Help on the Way will have you believe. But it is good. Some pretty clean harmonies even. The transition into Slipknot kind of gets lost, but it finds its way. I don't. Okay. I wasn't huge on this Slipknot specifically. My ear just kind of didn't know what to listen to. Everyone is playing very active parts. It's got a good, like, driving forward energy, and I enjoyed it more than not, but it definitely felt a little unfocused. If I could gripe about this Help Slip Franklin's. But then, once we get into the Franklins, I'm back into it. It's on the mellower side of Franklin's, but it's still very good vibes. It's very, like, perfect, like, summer driving with the windows down kind of music. Obviously, comparing Slipknot to Franklin's is kind of apples and oranges, but this Franklin felt a lot more focused than the Slipknot did. And then we find ourselves in Rooster. It's a good Rooster? Like a fine, okay. If you lined up all of the little Red Roosters from best to worst, this would be in the half closer to the best one. I wouldn't call it like an amazing Rooster by any stretch. There's nothing particularly wrong.
Rooster. Like,
yeah, it would
statistics class. It would be on.
Yeah, slightly better than middle. It's not, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not particularly inspiring. There's also a verse I'd never heard before.
Yeah, what was that?
About all the hens in the barnyard are crying with their heads hanging down. I truly don't think I've ever heard that verse before. And then I will say the highlight of this Red Rooster was Vince's keyboard solo. A very nice, like, old school blues piano solo, and some really nice stuff.
Yeah. Good call.
The energy keeps on trucking with Brown Eyed Women. It's a fun Brown Eyed Women. It's not a highlight of the set or anything. It flirts with Zippy, but it doesn't commit to Zippy. And then I really enjoyed this masterpiece. Bobby was on the acoustic, which is always a nice sound. It was very laid back, but with a passionate vocal delivery from Bob. If it was about 15% slower, you could tell me that this was Dead and Company, and I'd believe you. Like, we're hearing 90s Grateful Dead Bobby start to evolve into 2010s, 2020s current Bobby. Mm-hmm. Hard to be upset with Loose Lucy when that, to me, that's one of those songs that when it shows up, especially in a 90s show, that means Jerry's in a good mood. And this one is very much a bop. Jerry's very into it, which is nice. I really like Vince's organ part that kind of covers for the backing vocals on the, like, round and round and round and round. I thought that was really cool. Cassidy is a lot of fun. It's definitely, this set, and honestly this show isn't particularly, like, jammy. There's a lot of nice solos, but it's not very out there in terms of the jams. This Cassidy is the jam of the night, without question. The band really feels like they're supporting Jerry here. They go on a weird journey, but it always feels like they're aware of the journey they're taking, which was really nice. And some very nice Vince harmonies on Cassidy. It reminds me a lot of early Brent, like the prettier sound that you get on, like, an 80-81 Cassidy. And then a boppy Don't Ease Me In to close out the set. It's an energetic harmonies, tight solo. There's a lot to like. It's in general a very good first set, but it especially sticks the landing. The masterpiece, Loose Lucy, Cassidy, Don't Ease, Run, is just all a lot of fun. So yeah, I really liked set one. Yeah. What did you think,
that
Fig?
Turn of phrase. Yeah, thanks. I love that turn of phrase. Sticks the landing. It's very Nobbian. And welcome back, buddy.
Thanks.
Great stuff. I agree on some and disagree on others. And it's been a couple weeks.
That's not the format of the show. You tell me I'm right about everything, and then we nod and go home.
Yeah, well, I just pretend you're right. Because it makes it easier on everybody. All right, so Help Slip Frank. The jam was not happening on Help. I wrote that it sounded under-rehearsed. I actually liked Slipknot. I thought it was good with a lot of tension and build. And Franklin's, this is kind of a hot take, but Franklin's I thought was decent. I felt like Jerry was like a sad person at a party. Like there was a party going on behind him. Jerry was expected to bring it, and he just sounded kind of sad and old and just kind of not quite in his skin. A little bit of a bummer take, but that's just how I felt. Going back to Little Red Rooster, I like Jerry on slide. Great tone, was doing some really interesting stuff. Bobby on slide, the first 12 bars of his solo were fine. And then he took that kind of second run at it, and it reminded me, I think I shared this meme with you guys. It's hard to describe memes, but it's that picture of a mom like yelling at the kid in the back seat, "Why can't you be normal?" And the kid's just like screaming back at the mom, and that's how I felt at this one. I just wanted to go to Bobby and say, "Hey, why can't you be normal?" With that second, it was just screeching. It just sounded like screeching, and it was not good. We get into Brown Eyed Women, and I thought that Jerry's vocals and guitar work were awesome here. So, it's not like I'm just slagging Jerry on this show. He really brought it with Brown Eyed Women, as he usually does. I wrote that it's a pop country song. Yeah. And Masterpiece, I wrote this is a good version. Masterpiece, frequent listeners know, is not one that I rate very highly. But we had some great vocals by Bobby, great harmonies by Jerry, and some great solos by Jerry as well. Lucy was a fun version. I agree. I liked Vince's stabby, syncopated keys. His tone was like a baseball stadium organ. And it was just fun. It's a fun song, and his organ, just was perfect for exactly what that song needed. We get into Cassidy. I wrote that it's a poppy boppy version. Shout out to Vince on harmonies. There was no caterwauling. Great build in the instrumental section, but I would have liked the jam to keep going until they figured out how to get back into the end of the chorus. They just kind of... This was one of those Cassidys where they're just like, parachute, drop into the chorus. The Flight of the Seabirds part, where how they end it. And then we go into Don't Ease Me In, which is how they ended the first set of April 4th, 94 in Orlando. And
it's not an
that's
opinion.
It's a fact. It is true. And I would like to know how the game felt about the first set there.
I felt about
that was my parachute drop out of that monologue there.
I personally feel about the first set like I do the second set, like I do this entire show. I sang a little while and then I flew on. Yeah. You can find me on the archive.org comment section.
That one guy.
This is okay. I always have a hard time finding any fault in any help slip Franklin. And that's going to be the case here. I thought it was okay. Little Red Rooster was good. Brown Eyed Women was okay. Always loved Masterpiece, so that was good. But Loose Lucy, Cassidy, and Don't Ease Me In just didn't really do it for me this time around. Which is weird because those songs would almost always do it for me in any other show. Because everything in this set is pretty much up tempo, but I don't know if
I find 94s to be just wild cards. Like you end up liking stuff you didn't realize you liked. The stuff you thought you liked, it doesn't turn out that way sometimes.
Yeah,
it's an interesting era. Yeah,
this was really just. But I don't want to say background noise in a negative way, but nothing of this show really was like, wow, that for me. So, yeah, it's kind of just okay. But that's my opinion. Set 2 of the show kicked off with Iko Iko. Then we got A Way to Go, Truckin, Terrapin Station, Drums in Space, Days Between, Throwing Stones, Not Fade Away, with an encore of I Fought the Law and the Law Won. Fig.
Nice. Wow.
Thank you. What were your thoughts? Let's set 2.
I don't have much on set 2. Partially because I didn't like it, and partially because I just didn't have time to really, hone in how I felt about not liking it. Iko Iko, again, it was just okay. This one kind of, the set 2 started the same way as set 1, where Jerry just felt like the sad kid at a party. Again, Iko Iko, it's like the calypso reggae feel, and Jerry just did not have the voice to kind of bring that fun and that atmosphere. We get to Long Way to Go Home, and I wrote, I gave Vince a compliment. There was no caterwauling on Cassidy. But on Long Way to Go Home, I literally wrote this in my notes. I found myself apologizing to my dog. who was in the room and listening to that song. It was all caterwauling, and it was just not anything I want to dwell on. So I'm going to go to Truckin. This was a good, straightforward version, kind of just served to serve up Terrapin on a platter, kind of like an appetizer for Terrapin. Jerry sings this song with a Dylan inflection, I felt. It was kind of interesting. And to Vince's credit, he was putting a great canvas in the background, like doing everything that he needed to do in the synthesizer to give this song a majestic feel, like you would expect from 90s Dead. And it was good. I liked the Terrapin. It wasn't anything to write home about. Drums in Space, I skipped. Days Between, I wrote, was pretty lackluster. Decent feedback effects from Bobby and some good fill flourishes throughout, but just kind of a dirge. Just kind of happened. And Throwing Stones, Not Fade Away, and I Fought the Law are how they ended April 4th, 1994.
That's the spirit.
Knob, I hope you have more to say about set 2 than I did.
Hey, as always, I agree with every single thing that you said.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Yeah, Iko was... way to start. I mean, okay. It just didn't have the energy that you normally want out of Iko Iko. It was just a little too mellow. Besides the lack of energy, there wasn't really anything that wrong with it. I kind of even liked Jerry's MIDI solo in there. It just didn't have the energy, and I also don't know if I've ever heard an Iko this long. It was almost pushing 10 minutes, and I'm not sure it justifies that length. It kind of felt like they were treading the same ground on minute 2 that they were on minute 9, and I was like, okay. I actually really dug this Way to Go Home. I'm not normally huge on it, but I actually thought it was a lot of fun.
Really?
I did. I really did. In the first half, Vince's voice sounded less strained than usual, and it had a really nice groove. And then he absolutely caterwauls his way through the second half of it, but the energy was there for me, which by this show's standards, it was working. He really got into the caterwaul, and at one point I heard he did it's a long, long, long fucking way, and that really got me.
Yep.
I think my only big thing is I will never understand why Way to Go Home is a set 2 song. To me, it is a perfect set 1 song.
Because topically, we go home after set 2.
But they do it so early in set 2.
Well, that's fair. Well, yeah, because they have to bury it.
Yeah, and like they never really jam on it that much. Like to me, it feels like it is built for set 1. Whatever. Truckin is Truckin. They don't really do too much with it. There's no real big jam on it. It is short but sweet. Our second F-bomb in set 2, which is wild. Yeah, in general, the set 2 is not as jammy as you particularly want out of a set 2. The only real exceptions are the Iko, there are some nice solos in it, but it's Iko, so it's always going to be bump, 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 bump. And, there's only so long you can do that.
Wait, was that Iko Iko? Was that Not Fade Away? Or
I was actually doing Man Smart, Women Smarter.
Man Smart. I couldn't tell.
I will say the highlight of the Truckin' for me is the transition into Terrapin. They allowed themselves to get nice and weird as we got there, and I thought it was a really cool transition. The lady with a fan half of Terrapin I thought was really tight. I will say that I thought we lost some of the energy when we got into the later half of the song, which is weird because that's my favorite part. But it just wasn't quite there like I wanted it to be, though the post-Terrapin jam is a lot of fun. It's a very spirited jam. It's very fast. There's just a lot going on in a way that isn't always happening in these songs. I like what the band is doing on Days Between.
Wait. Drums in Space.
Yeah, I was running a little behind on listening to this show, and I had to skip it. I'm sorry. I know.
Trying to rub your nose in it because
nothing to apologize.
I try so hard not to, because even when I don't like the drum space, I'm always like, I'm glad I listened to it, especially when I'm whining about the fact that they didn't really jam much in this set, and I skipped the 23-minute jam in the middle. But
it was. Yeah, I think both of them were like 13 minutes long.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty days between. I really like the keyboard sound. There's a very emotional delivery from Jerry, which is nice. He doesn't hit all of the notes in either his singing or his playing, but the feeling is there, which isn't true in every Jerry song tonight. So I did really overall enjoy the days between. Okay. When I sat down and first started listening to the show, I looked at the set list and I was like, huh, not a lot of 90s songs. Even not a lot of 80s songs. It's a very old school Dead set list. Except for The Way to Go Home, The Days Between, and the I Fought the Law, and then of course the Throwing Stones being from the 80s. But other than that, it's all 70s tunes. And so I was kind of like, okay, this is gonna be a good one because there's not that many 90s songs. Like I don't have to listen to one of those Phil songs that I don't care about. But if I'm being honest with you, the 90s songs all had really good energy to them, and a lot of the 70s songs were more hit or miss. I don't know exactly what my point is here, but what I expected to like out of the show is not what I liked out of the show, and what I expected to not like out of the show is often what I liked out of this show.
That goes to my earlier point. It's all wild cards. It's all wild cards.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, Throwing Stones had some fun energy. It was groovy, but still angry. The passionate vocal delivery from Bob is there, like always. It's interesting seeing a snapshot as that one lyric in Throwing Stones is evolving from Money Green, Proletariat Gray, selling guns instead of food today, to nowadays Bob sings Money Green, it's the only way you can buy the whole goddamn government today. And this one is a sort of... Today. Yes, but this one's a sort of in-between where he sings Money Green, it's the only way, sell them guns, rape the earth today, which was very heavy.
Very
really
90s.
Intense. Very 90s. And as we all know, the Dead don't do politics. Once we get into the solo, if I'm being honest with you, it's kind of like the Iko Iko, where it's treading the same ground as we loop through the chord progression. I didn't need it to go on as long as it did, but it's very well played. And there's a very nice active bass part from Phil in this Throwing Stones that I really enjoyed.
Cool.
And I know it's old hat, but the Throwing Stones Not Fade Away transition is tight as hell. They always nail that, and the show is no exception. And Not Fade Away had some fun energy to close the set. And then they played I Fought the Law to encore. Game, what did you think of set 2?
Iko Iko was there for me. A Way to Go Home. A Way to Go Home is absolutely a first set song trapped in a second set world. Truckin' Terrapin was good. I did, of course, like any self-respecting human being, skipped Drums in Space. Days Between. Yeah, it was there. Throwing Stones was all right. Not Fade Away, I didn't mind. And then they closed the show with I Fought the Law.
Is there... I said that, Game. I said that.
I also said
I knew enough.
One of us has to have a fucking opinion on I Fought the Law.
Okay, here's my opinion, and it's more of a question. I will phrase my opinion in the form of a question. Don't they usually play that song when there's, like, trouble? Yes.
So, I don't want to say
was there trouble that night? Anybody know?
I don't want to say this is trouble, but reading through the archive, okay, apparently there's two things to note of this April 4th, 94 show. Apparently this was supposed to be an April 3rd, 94 show.
Yes, was this when Kreutzmann's father had a heart attack? Is that what I was reading?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
So Willie Kreutzmann's dad, heart attack, and then this show was pushed to the 4th. Then, while reading through the archive, there was comments about cops and tear gas.
Oh, wow.
But I also kind of feel like, and this is not to be disparaging to any fine archive.org commenter from, 2003, 2004. Sometimes I think they embellish just a little bit. So was there really cops and loads of tear gas happening outside of the venue? I don't know, but
I
it
think
was
it
mentioned
was,
at
because I'm
least.
reading a comment from friend of the show, B-Man 1973, where he writes,
Yeah,
Killer helped slip
B-Man.
Franklin's, parentheses. And yes, I got maced in the police altercation after.
Oh
So,
wow. Well, after though, I mean, how would they have known to
The
play up?
yeah,
cops,
I don't know.
the cops told them, "Yo, shit's gonna shit.
I
We
wonder
are
if the
starting
after
shit
means
after this."
after help slip Franklin's.
Okay,
Uh,
I see.
I have no idea. I
there,
wasn't there. I wouldn't be
here's
born for 5 more years.
here's a here's a comment
Jeez.
from actually here this isn't a part of the show, but I'm just gonna read this entire comment. This is from possibly friend of the show Satori70,
Oh, Satori 70.
posted April 4th 2013 on the archive. There were so many cops.
Interesting.
I mean everywhere.
Huh.
Cops on every form of transportation imaginable. You name it. Rollerblade cops, yup, they had them too. Bicycles, jet skis,
That's so
boats,
90s. Rollerblade cops.
4x4, motorcycles, horseback, walking scooters, undercover, helicopter dogs, everywhere. They must have busted them in from Miami. It was almost like the air was static with this inevitable showdown before it even happened over such a overt police presence. The
Wow.
tear gas I will never forget walking out of the venue into that bedlam. Witnessing it from the stairs, I fought the law. The boys had to have known. Come on. What were they to do, you know? Stop the show and make it worse? They were probably told by the O-Town, finish and take your freaks with you. They never did play Orlando again, but instead Spring Tampa was my last show.
Wow. Very
Uh
cool. Thank you for that.
then there's a few
Thank
more
you.
there's a few more comments, and the final sentence is got home and the next day Kurt Cobain died.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a little couple of days of history here. First
Yeah.
with Willie, and then this horrible cop incident, and then with Kurt.
Yeah.
94
Well, and it
sucked.
kind of goes to the bigger picture of like, you know, what the Dead were facing as this whole thing was wrapping up. I mean, they didn't know it was wrapping up, but I think more and more the scene was just out of control, and no one had a good response to it. The Dead had to keep touring, and to their credit, they did, but it wasn't all, you know, sunshine and
It,
good vibes.
it seems like, and here's actually another comment from 2 years previous. It was such a strange show. Frat boys from UCF fucking with people outside the show before it began.
Jeez.
Cops everywhere. Yeah, so maybe the boys did know. Did feel something weird was going on.
It's so sad, man. It's like, you know, they get invited to play in Orlando. You know, they give some culture to that city, and then they just get heckled out of town. Like, come on.
The gate crashing incident, was that 95?
Yes.
So here, just a discussion point. Was the police presence, obviously our opinion is obviously a police presence like that is not ever warranted, right? But 1 year later, there was a massive gate crashing incident at where? Oh,
God.
why is that?
Deer Creek?
Yes,
No.
you're correct.
Yes.
No, yes, because I there's good video footage of everything.
Mm.
Do you think the scene was getting
yes.
out of hand? That
I
some of
mean,
these towns were like, because like Orlando is nothing but obviously it's tourist hell, but like were they like, oh my god, this we
I
need
feel like
to bring this
Orlando.
much in, because like it seems so strange to have that many, right? In 1994,
well,
like
Yeah.
yeah, well, a big part of it's with cop presence at Dead shows at that period of time. It wasn't so much crowd control, but a big part
Right.
of it was that a lot of these cities would bust hippies for doing drugs in the
Right.
parking lot
That's
and would make
money.
a lot of money off
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. Which is awful. Again, like you invite the element into your city. You know, the band. You know, you have contracts for the band to play. Element comes, and then you bust them up for more money. It's like, It's like some Simpsons stuff, like when the Simpsons got Hollywood to come and they just like bilked them out of all their money. It's not cool. I will say, I think Orlando was probably, and I don't want to fight the hypo and fight the question too much, but like, I think Orlando in the 90s may have been a different town than how we know it now. Like, clearly Walt Disney World was there, Universal Studios, I'm assuming. But like, I don't think it was like a city, like now, like people live there. I think it was more like just a town with some resorts and stuff. So maybe it had more of a Central Florida feel rather than Orlando now, which is very cosmopolitan and certainly would not treat Dead or Dead and Company, that way. So I don't know. Very interesting though. I'm glad I asked that question.
We do not have any Scarlet Fires to rate.
We never do.
When is do we?
Would you guys rate the Terrapin? Should we just rate the Terrapin?
I wouldn't rate it highly.
I wouldn't either. I don't know if this is a good first one to start, but
And I'm taking a scroll through, and we don't have one next week either.
We don't.
Shit. When is our next Scarlet Fire? It's been forever.
It's possible that it's just not a great topic of conversation.
It could be. It could be. Maybe that's the universe's way of saying, take this segment away.
It's been months.
It really has.
I think the last one we had wasn't any good.
That 93 show from episode 69.
Ooh, nice.
Thanks.
I'm going to assume that I know everyone's answers to this next question. However, I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Fig, has this show made your Book of the Dead?
Oh, heavens no.
Nob, has this show made your Book of the Dead?
No. No. It's not without merits. I'm glad I listened to it once, but I'm not going to listen to it again.
I kind of want to listen to it a second time.
Why?
I did.
Because now I know all the police background.
Oh.
So it almost makes me still, it's not going to be in my Book of the Dead. But it does wonder me if I can sense anything knowing the shit show that's happening just outside the gates. I don't know. Maybe I would listen to it and I would think I would hear something, and it's just me thinking that, and just because I know what's going on. But yeah, it's just now knowing that backstory. This went for me anyway. This went just from another random 94 show to like, oh my god, like what was happening at this 94 show? I want to see if I can find maybe even like. This is one of those things where you could go on YouTube and find like some random news video from like Orlando 1994 that shows like, yeah, the Grateful Dead were here and here's the police macing all these people. Like it wonders me if there's any footage out there of that. Anyway, I will
say this is I hope that this is probably not a good payoff to this, but I know that there's a picture out there of Jerry in Walt Disney World, and maybe he's wearing the mouse ears. I'm not sure. Are you guys familiar with this picture?
I'm gonna look for it right now.
Yeah, so I googled it. I mean, it exists. I know it exists. I've seen it on the subreddit. But it makes sense. Like if you're in Orlando, like bring the family down. Like we'll just go to the theme park. So I typed in Jerry Garcia Walt Disney World, trying to look for that, just to see if like this is when that photo was taken. And there's a YouTube video, and the title of the YouTube video is "Why did Jerry Garcia go to Disney World?" And I didn't click on the YouTube video, but there's a description underneath the title, and it's a joke. So why did Jerry Garcia go to Disney World? Because he heard the lines were long.
Nice. I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. But it was Disneyland, not Disney World.
Oh, he went to Disneyland
in California.
Makes more sense.
I'm a Disney person, and I get them confused literally all the time.
I've never been to either. I just wanted to feel the power of correcting Fig.
If you ever want
Welcome back, buddy.
If you ever want to spend a whole bunch of money, just go to Disney.
Yep.
They're
good at taking it out of your pocket. And I just want to add that Knob has just completed directing adults in a musical theater, and what Knob takes pride about is correcting his fellow podcaster
I
on
truly, if I'm
Grateful
being
Dead
honest
trivia.
with you, as I started saying this, like I totally blanked about the fact that I just spent the last month and a half working on Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
Look at these.
Oh,
I just sent in our little private chat. I sent two Shakedown Street videos from
oh.
Vermont, 94 and 95, homemade.
My folks were at the
Uh,
'95 show.
they might be in that video. It's
I'll
kind
watch
of
it.
it's kind of neat seeing people walk around with balloons in 1994 in
Yeah.
a weird
On their
way.
camcorders. Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? Those things were huge on their shoulders, walking around taping that shit.
That's cool.
Oh, I love it. Uh, uh, Knob, set one or set two?
Oh, set one. And to me, it's not close.
Big, set one or set two?
It's set one.
And even though we do not need this, I will also say it is set one for me as well. Show MVP. I'll kick that off. I'm gonna be very, very cheap by saying this, but I'm gonna go with Jerry.
Mhm.
He wasn't the best Jerry night, but I think he was the best of what was on stage. So Jerry gets my vote. Fig
Knob. No,
or
no.
no?
Okay. Yeah, I'll give an honorable mention to Phil, who's doing some really interesting bass work throughout, but I think I gotta give it to Prince Vince.
Prince. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I can.
Thank
I
you.
can.
I'm
I
gonna
can
be honest
swallow
with
that.
you. I thought about that at like 6 hours ago, and I was like, remember to say Prince Vince when you get to the MVP part.
So can I just say
And-
that I think King Brent is now a meme. I've been seeing that pop up a little bit on the subreddit, and especially on the setlist threads. So let's keep that up, and maybe we'll make Prince Vince a meme.
Hey, Vinny
I'm gonna
Gang.
go with Prince Vince because I like how that sounds. All apologies to my dog who had to hear the caterwauling that is a long way to go home. But Prince Vince rolls off the tongue. Love it.
All right. Sorry. Now I'm literally looking for this news articles now about grateful not
All right.
grateful for Melee over the Dead. Boom. Done. Here. Here's another one. All right. Let's see here. Do have a few Reddit comments this week. I'll read them both since they are quite short. Deadco Mule said mercy. What a first set. And then we agree.
Oh, so they agree. Yeah.
We agree because we also voted for the first set. And then Docman427, not really a set list guy, but man, this is nice. One of the better 1994 shows, in their opinion. My opinion is that this is one of the better 94 shows. I don't want to hear too many others. All right, next.
I'm gonna jump in before we go to next week, because I opened up that link that you sent about not grateful for Melee over Dead in the Orlando Sentinel from April 14th. So what is that, like a week or so after the April 4th 94 show? And it's just not bad. It's pretty quick. It's interesting. Much of the news media, as well as law enforcement officials, are blaming quote-unquote Deadhead fans for the disturbance at the Orlando Arena on April 4th. This may be convenient, but hardly the truth. The blame should go on the quote-unquote powers that be, who made the illogical and very stupid decision to go on with concert number 2 after canceling concert number 1 without rescheduling concert number 1. That's interesting. Never thought about that. This in itself was patently unfair to ticket holders of concert number 1. You don't shortchange 15,000 fans without causing some trouble. It amazes me that the writing was so minor. Wow, okay. There's a lot of layers to this onion. As anyone who knows anything about the Grateful Dead concerts is aware, tickets can be very hard to come by, and a large percentage of individuals must pay more than face value for their tickets. Why? Because the majority of tickets are sold by mail to Deadhead Club members before they go on sale locally. This is a scalper's dream. Very interesting. Hence, a refund at face value is hardly compensation for a canceled show. I would advise Centroplex officials, wow, Centroplex, how 90s, to make a rule for the future that if multiple concerts are sold and for any reason one of them must be canceled, then all the concerts will be canceled as well if rescheduling is not possible. Otherwise, you can expect to see a repeat of the events of April 4th or a whole lot worse. William L. Patterson, Orlando.
Here's another article from April 5th, 1994. And I was going to read this one paragraph here. The melee, which included some in the crowd of 1,500 throwing bottles, lasted about an hour. No injuries or arrests were reported, but a 2-year-old girl, Katie Matthews, was missing, separated from her parents. Police searched early Tuesday for the girl, who they say may have been picked up by her friends. Lord, this show was just a shit show, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's never speak of the show again.
Yeah, this show goes in the show of just never to be discussed. All right, our next show is June 24th, 1985 from Riverbend, Cincinnati, Ohio. This was a Hot Monday show in the summer. And for some reason, when I think of 85, I kind of always think of getaway openers. And that's what we get here, an Alabama getaway opener from 85. I also think of Jerry in a red shirt whenever I think of 1985 as well. Those are my two weird.
You're always thinking about Jerry in red shirts, though.
I really am. So much nicer than the black.
Iko set 2 opener once again.
We get a My Brother Esau. It's set 1. Yeah. That jumps out.
And then one of the big things is this is right when they tried bringing back the full "That's It for the Other One" suite. This is when Cryptical Envelopment had its short-lived revival. I don't think this was the first. This was the second time they had done Cryptical Envelopment since 1972.
Cool. And we get to hear next week. We get to hear Game try to say Cryptical Envelopment.
Oh,
at least twice.
We already know how we're going to do that. I'm going to pause, and Knob's going to take the wheel for 2 words. All right. You know what? Truthfully, we did this for this show, but I'm going to do it again for this show. This set list looks promising, and it's an 85, and King Brent is on the keys. So we're holding out hope that this is a good show next week. But let's go ahead and wrap up and do our bookkeeping for the evening so we can get you to set 1 of April 4th, 1994. As always, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button and like and share with any and all of your Grateful Dead loving friends and family. Of course, you may find us at wherever podcasts are downloaded. However, you will not find us on a service that loosely rhymes with Knob is back and should have done this gag, but forgot. Okay? So any other major podcast platform you will find us on. However, there is one that just so happens to rhyme with Knob is back and should have done this gag, but forgot. You won't find us on that one. If you do like to access your podcast the old-fashioned way, you may, of course, access those at helponthewaypod.podbean.com. If you would like to communicate with us through electronic mail, please do that via helponthewaypod@gmail.com. If you would like to communicate with us through Reddit, please reach out to us via the Help on the Way discussion thread at reddit.com/r/Grateful Dead. Any parting words from my co-hosts, Knob or Fig?
I'll jump in first. Mr. Patterson's op-ed there kind of goes into the point I was trying to get across before, which is like, this is a fast-moving freight train. You cancel one show, and it's like butterfly effects. You have no idea what's happening. So it's an interesting time for the Dead, and it's interesting for us to look back on it. Knob, I hope you have something nicer to say.
Yeah, there was actually a point that I meant to raise sooner that I forgot about, and I'm glad I have this last little bit. But the tape that I listened to on re-listen, it mentioned that the source was that this tape was made specifically by Dick Litvala for Vince Welnick. Which makes me think that this was a show that Vince himself felt pretty good about, which is really interesting to think about.
I wonder if he would use this That's interesting. You
was
don't really
Dick a taper at that point, or like was this a soundboard for? Like, what are we talking
This
about here?
is it was the soundboard I was listening
Okay.
to. I don't know if I assume that someone else did the recording and Dick just made sure that it got specifically to Vince. But I don't know.
Picked it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I wonder if this was a show that Vince felt particularly proud of, and if so, he was right to.
I wonder if he would use this then as like a. I don't know. I find it weird that would be like I want this specific show brought to me. Like I don't know. Could you see O'Teal being like, man, I crushed it. Can I get a soundboard of that
It happens.
show?
I know when Bobby was starting Rat Dog, he specifically asked David Lemieux to get him tapes of Summer '89 so that he could send the rest of the band those versions of the song so that they could start practicing with those, because those were shows that Bob felt particularly happy with. So
Cool.
It happens. I mean,
Bobby
as
should have
someone
done
who
that.
makes music, as someone who plays in a band, I know which of my band shows I like and which ones I thought were just fine.
Bobby should have used the Summer '89 for the Dead and Company.
Yeah.
Spirit. That's not the word I'm looking for, but whatever. Anyway, this show is getting
Tempo is the word I'm looking for.
Anyway, this show is getting long, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this puppy. Again, please stick around for set 1 of April 4th, 1994. As you're listening to set 1, just think of all the chaos that was getting ready to happen. Because it was a shit ton. And that's it for this week. And thank you once again for listening to the Help on the Way podcast.
Paradise wave on the crest of a wave, her angels in flame. She has no pain. Like a child, she is pure, she is not to blame. So fly, wings spread bright, spring from light to the sun. Stop to run. She can fly like a lion, she can't be undone. Tell me the cause. I can pay, let me know, tell me love is not lost. And every day, without love, day to day, insanity's a game. Another time, forgotten space. Your eyes looked from your mother's face. Wildflowers seed in the sand and wind. Rain to fall when it roll you home again. Roll away, let it do. Roll away, let it do. Roll away, let it do. You better roll away, let it do. Tell you when the fall will sleep. Franklin's heart, their hands been. It can ring, turn night to day. It can ring like fire if you lose your way. Roll away, let it do. You better roll away, let it do. Roll away, let it do. Roll away, let it do. God save the child that rings that bell. And I'm a good ring, baby, you can't tell. One watch by night, one watch by day. You get confused, listen to the music, baby. Some come to laugh and pass away. Some come to make it just one more day. Whichever way your pleasure takes. If you play nice, you're gonna harvest wind. Yes, you will. Roll away, let it do. want you to roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew. I want you to roll away the dew. Like falling glands in his cheeks, wildflower seeds in the sand and wind. Baby, before we throw you home again, oh, roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew. Roll away the dew. You better roll away the dew. Roll away, won't you roll away the dew. I got a little red rooster, and he's too lazy to go for days. I have a little red rooster, and he's too lazy to go for days. And you keep everything in the barnyard, people, upset in every way. And the dogs begin to bark now. The hounds begin to howl. And the dogs begin to bark now. Hounds begin to howl. Watch out, stray cat people. Little red rooster on the prowl. You see my little red rooster? Won't you please drive him home? If you see my little red rooster, won't you please, please drive him home? There's been no peace in the barnyard, people, since my little red rooster been gone. Now all the hens in the barnyard been moan and cry, walking around with their heads hanging down. All the hens in the barnyard, people moan and cry, with their heads hanging down. Everyday people, since my little red rooster's been gone to town. Always in town. Rooster. And you're too lazy to grow up again. And you keep everything in the barnyard, people upset in every way. Gone are the days when the yards fall down. You take up the oak and plow the fields around. Gone are the days when the lady said, please, Jenny Jack Jones, won't you come to me? Brown-eyed women and red grenadine. The bottle was dusty, but the liquor was clean. The sound of the thunder with the rain pouring down, and it looks like the old man getting old. 1920 when he stepped to the bar, drank to the dregs of the whiskey jar. 1930 when the wall caved in, he paid his way selling red-eyed gin. Brown-eyed women and red grenadine. Bottle was dusty, but the liquor was clean. Sound of the thunder with the rain pouring down. It looks like the old man getting old. Lila Jones was the mother of twins. Great times over and the rest was sins. Raised 8 boys, only I turned babe. Didn't get the lickings that the other ones had. Brown-eyed women and red grenadine. Bottle was dusty, but the liquor was clean. Sound of the thunder with the rain pouring down. It looks like the old man getting old. Tumble down shack in Bigfoot County. Snowed so hard that the roof caved in. Lila Jones went to meet her God, and the old man never was the same again. And he made whiskey and he made it well. Cost $2, you know it burned like hell. I cut hickory just to find the still. Drink down a bottle and you're ready to kill. Brown-eyed women, red grenadine. bottle was dusty, but the liquor was clean. Sound of the thunder with the rain pouring down. It looks like the old man's getting old. Gone are the days when the ox fall down. He'd take up the yoke and plow the fields around. Gone are the days when the lady said, please, gently, Jack Jones, won't you come to me? Brown-eyed women in red melody. The bottle was dusty, but the liquor was clean. Sound of the thunder with the rain pouring down. Looks like the old man's getting old. Looks like the old man's getting older.
Oh, the streets of Rome are filled with rubble. Ancient footprints are everywhere. Well, you could almost think that you see them double. On a cold, dark night on the Spanish Sea. Gotta hurry on back to my hotel room, where I got me a date with Botticelli's niece. She promised she'd be right there with me when I pay my masterpiece. Was spent inside the Coliseum, dodging lines, yes, and wasting time. Oh, those mighty kings with the jungle I can hardly stand to see them. Well, it sure has been a long, hard climb. Rolling through the back of my memory, we're in on a hilltop, following a pack of wild geese. Someday life will be sweet like a rhapsody when I paint my masterpiece. men in uniform. Yes, young girls pulling muscles. Well, it sure has been a long, hard ride. Newspaper man eating candy. Had to be held down by big police. Someday everything's gonna be different. Yes, well,
much to get the word around. Like a slime behind the tank. Don't shake the tree when the fruit ain't ripe. Sing, yeah, 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 for a real good time. I have seen where the wolf has slept by the silver stream. I can tell by the mark he left you were in his dream. I'm a child of countless trees. I'm a child of boundless seas. What you are, what you're meant to be. Speaks his name, that you were born to me. Born to me, Cassidy. Lost now on the country miles in his Cadillac. But I can tell by the way he smiles, he's rolling back. Come, wash the nighttime clean. Come, go the scorched ground green. Blow the horn, tap the tambourine. The dark years in between you and me, Cassidy. Quick beats in an ice heart. Catch cold towards a coffin cart. There he goes and now here she starts. Here he cries. Fly to the seabird, scattered like lost words. To the storm and fire.
tell now. Let your life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now. Let the world be yours. I'm done with mine. Fare thee well. Let your life proceed by its own design. Nothing to tell now. Let the words be yours. I'm done with mine. Done with mine. like lost birds, wheel to the storm and fire.
way across town. I'm standing on the street, a dollar in my hand. I was looking for a woman sweet, mama ain't got no man. Don't ease, don't ease, don't ease me in. I've been all night long coming home. Don't ease me in. The girl I love, she's sweet and true. The dress she wears, sweet mama, is pink and blue. She brings me coffee, she brings me tea. She brings me about every damn thing but the tin I ski. Don't ease, don't ease. Don't ease me in. I've been all night long coming home. Don't ease me in. Don't ease, don't ease, don't ease me in. I've been all night long coming home. Don't ease me in. Don't ease, don't ease, don't ease me in. I've been all night long coming home. Don't ease me in.
We'll be back in just a little bit.